Hey, yo, what's good, YouTube? Twitchy. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy, Cardi Jones. We back with something else. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification on YouTube. Don't forget to go follow, subscribe on my Twitchy. Cardi Jones on YouTube. Cardi Jones 7 on Twitch. Make sure you put a Z, not an S at the end of Jones. You hear me? Anyway, let's get right into it. I had something else queued up first, but then I decided to watch this one. But I did want to. Oh, no, this ain't it. These something else. But let's get right into it, man. The strangest robbery the FBI ever investigated.
A rope dangling down, and silence.
This one.
The morning manager arrives at 5:30 a.m., unlocks the front door. Everything looks normal. Registers closed, tables clean, chairs stacked. Then she notices the manager's office door is open. She always locks it. Always. She walks inside. The safe door hangs open, completely empty. No broken windows, no forced entry, no alarm triggered. Just a hole in the roof and a rope. The police arrive. They climb onto the roof, find the entry point, a perfectly cut circle in the metal roof, clean edges, professional work. But here's what they don't find.
Dang, boy. On top of the roof, through the ceiling, perfectly cut circle. Looked like they went to looked like they was in the Boy Scouts, the military or something. Double knot wedge, knots in a rope. You definitely learned this in the military at Boy Scouts. You hear me? Or some people put as much energy into something positive as they do something like this. Man, our outcomes and dreams are limitless, man. It's nothing they won't be able to accomplish. I'm telling you, yo. If they only had the stuff pointing in the right direction instead of like this, it's going to end them only in two places, right? Well, you know, I ain't got to speak too much on it.
Fingerprints, DNA, witnesses, security footage showing anything useful. Whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing, knew where the cameras pointed, knew where the safe was located, knew the exact timing between closing and...
Anybody want to say it for me? Inside job. Inside job.
Opening. This isn't random. This is planned. And it's just the beginning. Because over the next 18 months, the same hole will appear in 43 different McDonald's across 5 states. Same method, same precision, 43 different things. Because over the next 18 months, the same hole will appear in 43 different McDonald's.
God damn. 18 months, 43 different. Now, they should be done. This is beyond getting, and this is what usually gets people that have perfectly planned stuff, right? It's never perfect because the greed always factors into that perfectly planned situation and messes it up, man. So it's never perfectly planned because they greed, they never factor in. Like, man, I'm greedy, I'm not gonna be able to stop when I'm supposed to. But have an entry and an exit plan, like you did to get in and out of their little stores. But they never have an exit strategy to get out of the game completely in totality. It's just always an entry plan. And you can't stop, won't stop. Get down, get down.
Across 5 states. Yeah. Same method, same precision, same ghost. Police departments start comparing notes. FBI gets involved.
Shout out to Lipton, not a sponsor. Some of the greatest stuff I love.
They give him a nickname, Roof Man, the burglar who comes through the ceiling. But nobody knows the strangest part yet, the part that will make this case legendary. Roof Man isn't just cutting holes and leaving. He's hiding inside, waiting, living there. 1971. Jeffrey Manchester was born in Sacramento, California, Rancho Cordova suburb. His family was religious, strict Baptist upbringing, church every Sunday, prayer before meals. Jeffrey was quiet, polite, average student, nothing remarkable. Just a normal California kid, riding bikes and playing baseball. But there were small rebellions, staying out past curfew, small lies, testing
Nothing that a normal teenager don't do.
boundaries. His parents thought it was a phase. 1991, age 20. Jeffrey gets married, has 3 kids, twin boys and a daughter, needs to provide for them, gets a job at McDonald's, learns the systems, the routines, where cameras point, where the safe is located. The irony becomes clear later, but
And there's nothing wrong as long as you plan on taking care of the family that you bring about, right? It's just that's why you preach to your children, because you want the children to always be better than what you were. Feel me?
McDonald's wages aren't enough for a family of 5. 1992, Jeffrey joins the U.S. Army, 82nd.
That was the best thing. What I tell y'all? Boy Scouts on the Army, I'll be knowing. However, he should have did this from the get-go. This is the best thing he could have ever done in his life. This is what he should have been did.
Airborne Division, paratroopers. The training changes him, rappelling down ropes, climbing buildings, tactical entry, weapons handling, survival skills, learning to sit motionless for hours, to observe without being seen. Jeffrey excels, makes specialist rank, serves honorably for 4 years, but military pay is terrible. $1,800 per month with 3 kids. Debt accumulates. Car payments, credit cards, medical.
They should take care of our troops 1,000,000,000% more than what they do. 18 a month is like crazy bad, man. 18 a month in the military, and you got 3 kids and a wife to take care of. Like, why would they even? Like, people be ready to retire and don't, like, because stuff. Oh man, it's crazy how they do our troops. Some of these jobs, yo, they should be getting paid the buku bucks and don't just kills me. Like, firefighters make great money and they don't work that often. The police, teachers, jobs like this where they should be living comfortable. They, you know.
Bills. After the Army, Jeffrey works construction, roofing work. He's good at it, understands roof structures, cutting techniques, access points,
Okay.
but the pay is minimum wage, $10 per hour, age 28, with 3 kids and crushing debt. 1999, his marriage collapses. Police called to a domestic dispute. His wife files for divorce, files for full custody. Everything falls apart.
What?
Marriage ending, kids being taken, debt crushing him, dead-end job.
Yeah.
Jeffrey sits alone in his apartment, $147 in his bank account, rent due in 3 days, child support starting, no way to pay both. He thinks about his skills, military training, construction knowledge, his time working at McDonald's, and he has an idea. Just one robbery, just enough to catch up, then never again. November
See? It's always like that, man.
1998, his first robbery. $4,673 from a McDonald's in Charlotte, North Carolina. He walks out thinking, that was too easy. The sunny California childhood is over. The good soldier is gone. The family man has disappeared. The roof man is born. December 1998.
First one was so easy. He get a thrive for it, which, you know, we're gonna get into too much other stuff, but however, a lot of stuff like that, that's what it do to a person. They get chills. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, and they begin to love it, man. And
To March 2000, multiple states. Imagine
after he tried his darnest to do everything the right way, So I only fell short to start doing something out of bounds, all the way out of bounds. Do something all the way out of bounds.
Being a McDonald's employee, you close the restaurant at 11 p.m., lock everything, set the alarm, go home. Inside, hidden in a storage closet or bathroom, Jeffrey Manchester, 27 years old, former Army paratrooper, sitting in complete darkness, waiting. He waits for hours, doesn't move, doesn't make noise, just waits. 5:30 a.m., he hears keys in the door. The morning shift. Jeffrey puts on his ski mask, picks up his rifle, opens the closet door. The employees see him, freeze. One woman screams. Jeffrey speaks calmly, almost gently.
Nobody gets hurt. I just need you to go into the freezer. You'll be safe there. The door opens from inside. Just stay there for 10 minutes.
They comply, terrified, but he's not threatening them, not aggressive, just firm. He locks them in the freezer, walks to the office, opens the safe using the combination written on a sticky note. Managers always write it down somewhere. Takes the cash.
Because there's so many of them. So now they got to write down the combination on a sticky note. It's crazy. You can't force them to remember that. 1, 2, 6 numbers. That's crazy.
$4,200. Walks out the front door, removes his mask, gets in his car, drives away. Total time inside during the robbery, 11 minutes. This becomes his system, his formula, and it works every single time. April 1999. The FBI task force has 12 agents assigned full-time. They're tracking 43 confirmed robberies across 5 states. They know his method, they know his pattern, but they can't predict where he'll hit next.
Right.
McDonald's locations are everywhere, thousands of them. He could hit any one, at any time. The FBI sets up stakeouts, undercover agents watching high-probability locations, cameras on roofs, alarms on roof access points. Roofman adjusts, hits locations without stakeouts, smaller towns, less security, off the main patterns. The task force brings in behavioral analysts. They create a detailed psychological profile. Subject demonstrates military discipline and training, likely served in armed forces, comfortable with heights, suggests airborne or special operations, patient enough to wait for hours, suggests sniper training or surveillance experience, no violence against victims, suggests internal moral code, takes only cash, never damages property unnecessarily. This is business to him, not personal. They're building a perfect profile, but they still don't have a name. One agent suggests checking military records, cross-reference with McDonald's employees.
They so on point.
Run Windows, Linux, and more on your Mac with unmatched performance and
May 2000.
From the FBI, the Behavior Analysis Unit, BAU. That is crazy. Called an appointment. He was in the military and used to work there before. Like, dang, but they come out with nothing. And the crazy part is he was in the military and used to work there. Like, so I don't know how they came up with, like, what system did they use to look that up, information up, to where it came back nothing. Ain't like he was super, like, you know what I mean? Super soldier. He worked for him and his stuff was redacted. And, I mean, he did a regular little tour and got up out of there. And then they come home broke. Like, they're not even broke, but only a little bit of money that they. Man, nobody knew he home from. Nobody knew he home from. Nobody knew he home from. What's his name? The military. Should be having to do this right here. Nobody. And it's sad to see. They should be taking better care of our vets, man.
After 18 months and 43 robberies, the FBI estimates he's stolen approximately $180,000 total. Not a huge amount.
And that's it. After all of them stores.
About $4,200 per robbery average, but it's the audacity, the perfection, the fact that he's never been caught at a scene, never left evidence, never made a mistake, until May 20th, 2000. May 20th, 2000, Gastonia, North Carolina. 2 McDonald's locations, 20 miles apart. Jeffrey decides to rob 2 in one day. Double the money, double the risk.
What?
First robbery goes perfect. Morning crew, freezer, cash, escape. $4,200. He drives to the second location, parks 3 blocks away, climbs onto the roof at 2 a.m., cuts the hole, lowers himself inside. This is his 58th robbery total. He's so good at this that he's almost bored. He hides in the bathroom, waits. Hears the morning shift arrive. Same routine, same timing. Steps out at 5:47 a.m., rifle ready, ski mask on.
Everyone stay calm. I just want the money.
But this time, one employee is braver than the others, or maybe just faster. While Jeffrey is directing people toward the freezer, this employee runs straight to the back office, hits the silent alarm. Jeffrey doesn't know, continues the robbery. Safe open, cash collected, employees locked in freezer. He walks out the front door, 5:54 a.m. Police are already 2 blocks away, responding to the silent alarm. 7-minute response time. Jeffrey gets in his car, starts the engine, pulls onto the street. 2 police cruisers turn the corner ahead, lights flashing. Jeffrey's heart drops. He makes a split-second decision, abandons the car, runs. He's wearing full army fatigues now, carrying the rifle. Running through suburban Gastonia at 6 a.m. People are waking up, cars on the road, witnesses everywhere. Police chase him on foot. Jeffrey is fast, army training. But the cops are calling for backup. Dogs, helicopters. Jeffrey cuts through backyards, jumps fences, tries to disappear. But there's nowhere to go. Small town, daylight approaching. Too many eyes. At 6:23 a.m., police corner him in someone's backyard. Rifle pointed, orders shouted. Jeffrey Manchester drops the gun, raises his hands, and just like that, the roof man is caught. The evidence is overwhelming. Rifle matches ballistics from other robberies. Tools in his car match cut patterns on roofs. He's connected to dozens of crimes across 5 states. Jeffrey's lawyer tries to negotiate, but the prosecutor wants the maximum. Armed robbery, kidnapping, multiple counts across multiple states. The judge gives him 45 years in prison, no parole eligibility for 32 years. Jeffrey Manchester is 29 years old. Brown Creek Correctional Institution, Polkton, North Carolina, medium security facility. Jeffrey arrives in July 2000, inmate number 0567293, khaki uniform.
Story knowing there with this is crazy. He should have been more than. He didn't have a plan to do something with the money he was getting. Like he didn't. Oh man, that nigga's crazy. But you know, it's his own decision making, man. You know, and can't feel sorry for him. I just be thinking about the vets, military vets, like. And then the man tried to do everything he could to live like on the right path. At the end of everything, he took about to lose his family. And I ain't saying forced to do what he doing, but just like, man.
Assigned to C Block, Bunk 47. Prison psychologist evaluates him. Subject shows no signs of violent tendencies, cooperative, quiet, should adapt well to incarceration. They're right. Jeffrey becomes a model prisoner. 6 months in, Jeffrey qualifies for work assignment. They offer kitchen duty, laundry, maintenance. Jeffrey requests the metal shop. The metal shop is where inmates manufacture license plates, road signs, and various metal products for the state. It's supervised work. Tools are counted. But inmates handle saws, welders, metal sheets, and various materials. Jeffrey is approved. Starts work in January 2001. For 3 years, he works the metal shop, learning, practicing, gaining trust. He's so reliable that supervisors give him additional responsibilities: tool inventory, material ordering, training new inmates. He has access to materials most inmates never touch: metal sheets, plywood, paint, industrial strength adhesives. But Jeffrey doesn't steal, doesn't break rules, doesn't do anything suspicious. He just watches, studies, plans. The prison operates on schedules. Everything is routine.
Because, to be honest, he got 45 years. That's like, what he got to lose to break out. You feel me? Like, and I'm pretty much sure he can live off the land if he really does, like, escape and everything. He has nothing to lose to try to do what he want to do. What they gonna get him? Life? He already got 45 years, so like, it's, he 20, well, you know, he young though. 29. Yeah, come home at a decent age. Not ain't no decent age. That's the 70s, I think. Yeah, 70 something. Sheesh.
Guards change shifts at exact times. Delivery
But the question is, chat, y'all sit there and just keep being good for 45 years and go on when you're 75. Well, after he being so good, he'll be out at 30, right? So it's 29, 39, 49, 59. When he's 59, he'll be home, definitely. He'll come home on good behavior and all that other stuff. So 59 is to 30. He can't get to his 30 years up. Maybe him being super good like he done, he might even get a little early. You feel me? So 59, so I said 30, so he might do 20, get some time back. So let's say 49. Even if he done, he gotta do 30, 59. So y'all sit there and wait and come home when you're 59. Maybe you can do 20, come when you're 49. Who knows that one though? He definitely gotta do 30, we know that. So that's 59. All right, there you go ahead and do what he doing, man, plotting to escape. Because he definitely plotting something. Which one do you do? Take your chances on trying to escape. Because once you try to escape, if it don't work, he done up. Ain't no more tricking them into thinking he a model prisoner and he getting all his extra.
trucks arrive on predictable schedules. Every Tuesday and Friday, laundry supply truck, 9:30 a.m., delivers clean linens, picks up dirty ones, takes 45 minutes. Every Monday and Thursday, food delivery truck, 7 a.m., restocks the kitchen, takes 60 minutes. Every Wednesday, maintenance and supplies truck, various items, tools, paint, cleaning supplies, takes 30 minutes. The trucks go through 2 security checkpoints. First checkpoint, guards verify the driver and cargo manifest. Quick visual inspection underneath with mirrors. Second checkpoint, same process. Then the truck proceeds into the prison compound, unloads, reverses the process to leave. Jeffrey watches these trucks for 4 years, every single delivery, timing them, studying the patterns. And he notices something. The guards check inside the trucks thoroughly. They check underneath with mirrors. But the mirror check is cursory, fast, just a glance. They're looking for people hiding under the truck, but they expect to see a person, a human shape, arms and legs visible. What if someone wasn't hanging underneath? What if someone was flat against the undercarriage, painted black, invisible? The idea forms slowly, over months, over years. It's insane, impossible. But Jeffrey is a paratrooper. He jumped out of planes at 800 feet. This is just another calculated risk. He starts preparing. 2003 to 2004, Jeffrey collects materials, slowly, carefully, nothing obvious. Scrap plywood from the metal shop, small pieces. He requisitions them for projects. The supervisors approve. He's been reliable for 3 years. Nobody questions him. Black paint, industrial grade. He orders it for sign painting work. The shop needs it anyway. Nobody notices when a few extra cans appear. Metal hooks, L brackets, screws, all normal items for metal shop work. Jeffrey works on the platform in pieces, never assembles it fully. keeps components separate, hidden in different locations. The platform is simple, 4 feet by 3 feet, plywood, reinforced with metal brackets, 4 attachment hooks that grip the undercarriage crossbeams of a truck. He paints it completely black, every surface, so it blends with the undercarriage shadow. If the hooks slip, he falls. Truck runs over him. If the guards see him, they shoot. Escaping prisoner, authorized lethal force. If the driver feels the weight and stops, he's caught, thrown in maximum security. Another 20 years added to his sentence. But if it works, freedom. June 15th, 2004, Tuesday morning, 9:15 a.m. The laundry supply truck.
Another 20 piece added on to that? And he might even get the 30. He might not even get to do just the 30 and go home after that. You get caught like the old 45. Plus another 20. Damn, 65 years. Nigga, oh, he 91 here. Yeah, that's definitely over. It's over. Definitely over now. At least he would count an old man before. He definitely old. Like, he, God forbid, but he definitely going, what's the name in there? GTA.
Arrives. Same truck, same driver, same schedule every week. The driver parks, goes inside to deliver clean linens. Takes about 15 minutes. Jeffrey has 15 minutes. He slides under the truck. The platform is already hidden nearby. He attaches it to the undercarriage. 4 attachment points, hooks secured. Then he climbs onto the platform, lays flat, face down, arms holding the edges. His entire body weight is suspended under a moving truck, painted black, invisible. The driver returns, climbs in, starts the engine, drives toward the exit. First checkpoint. Guard walks around the truck, glances underneath with a mirror, sees black metal, undercarriage, shadow, nothing unusual. Gate opens. Second checkpoint. Same process. Quick check, mirror, nothing. Gate opens. Jeffrey Manchester is outside prison walls, clinging to the underside of a truck, heart pounding, muscles screaming. The truck drives onto the main road. Speed increases, wind rushing. Jeffrey holds on. Every bump threatens to shake him loose. 2 miles down the road, the truck stops at a red light. Jeffrey drops, rolls, stands up, runs into the woods. He's free. The most impossible prison escape since Alcatraz. And nobody even knows he's gone yet. Jeffrey runs through the woods. No supplies, no money, no plan beyond escape. He reaches a highway, sticks out his thumb, hitchhiking. A college professor picks him up.
The door is open.
Asks where he's headed. Charlotte, Jeffrey says, making up the destination. The professor drops him off at a gas station. Jeffrey thanks him, walks into the woods again. He needs to disappear. But how do you disappear with no money, no ID, no resources? Then Jeffrey has an idea, the kind of idea that will make this story legendary. He walks to a shopping center, waits until after closing, climbs onto the roof of Toys R Us. Same method he used 43 times before. Cut a hole, lower himself inside. But this time, Jeffrey doesn't rob the store. He moves into it, finds the storage areas, the sections with baby products, grabs baby formula, baby food, anything that doesn't need cooking, finds blankets, pillows, sets up a small area behind boxes, hidden from view. When morning comes and employees arrive, Jeffrey hides, perfectly still, perfectly quiet. He waits all day. Employees walk past his hiding spot, never see him. Night comes again, store closes, Jeffrey emerges. He's alone in Toys R Us. Thousands of toys, video games, bicycles. He rides bikes through the aisles at 2 a.m., tests video games, eats baby food. It's surreal. A wanted fugitive living in a toy store like Kevin McAllister's fever dream. He does this for weeks, always careful, always hidden during business hours. But summer ends, autumn approaches, Christmas season coming. The store gets busier, more employees, more inventory checks. Jeffrey needs somewhere better, somewhere safer. Next door, Circuit City, the electronics store, abandoned, out of business, locked up, empty, perfect. Jeffrey breaks into the abandoned Circuit City. Easy for someone who spent years cutting roof holes. The store is empty, no merchandise, no employees, just a hollow shell waiting for a new tenant. He explores, finds the perfect spot, under a staircase, a small space, hidden, enclosed. Jeffrey transforms it, paints the walls, hangs posters, brings in a mattress from the Toys R Us storage, sets up a TV and DVD.
Yo, buddy is insane, yo. With all of this time, you need to be thinking of something to get out the country or something. I ain't got no bread. But he could have made somebody. He definitely can never think the words I'm looking for at the moment. I need him. It's the crazy part. He definitely resourceful. Right? He ain't comfortable with comfortability. Always is like that'll get you every time. You feel me? You on the edge like that, comfortability is the last thing you need to set in. You feel me? Yeah, comfortability is the last thing. Oh my God, I need to stretch my leg. Comfortability is the last thing you need to sit in, man, especially on the run. Like, my boy, you need to get up and get caught.
Player from Circuit City's abandoned inventory. He creates a tiny apartment hidden in an abandoned store, a secret room that nobody knows exists. He runs an extension cord to a working outlet, has electricity, can watch movies, can heat food. Jeffrey watches DVDs at night. One of his favorites, Catch Me If You Can, the Leonardo DiCaprio film about a con artist who evades capture for years. The irony is perfect. A fugitive watching a movie about a fugitive, in a secret room, in an abandoned store. During the day, Jeffrey moves between the Circuit City hideout and Toys R Us, stealing food, stealing clothes, stealing anything he needs. But he wants more than survival. He wants connection. So Jeffrey does something incredibly risky. He joins a church. Summer 2004, Crossroads Presbyterian Church, Charlotte, North Carolina. A new member joins the congregation, gives his name as something other than Jeffrey Manchester. Let's call him David. David is friendly, helpful, volunteers for events, helps with setup, talks to everyone. The church community welcomes him, never suspects anything. David meets a woman, single mother, 2 kids. They start spending time together. He's charming, kind, patient with her children, brings them gifts, toys from Toys R Us. The relationship develops. She thinks he's a good man, trustworthy, stable. She has no idea she's dating a fugitive living in an abandoned electronics store. Jeffrey Manchester is living 2 lives. By day, active church member, romantic partner, friendly neighbor.
When you think you know, that is the crazy part about this, yo. Sheesh, he really a fugitive on the run. But he said, I'm gonna join the church. You need connection, man, because he man, I ain't got no words.
By night, burglar living in retail spaces, stealing food, watching movies in his hidden room. It's the most bizarre double life imaginable, and it works. For months, it works. But Jeffrey makes a critical mistake, the same mistake that got him caught before: greed.
Yeah, see?
December 2004. Christmas season approaching. Jeffrey watches Toys R Us filling with holiday inventory, cash registers loaded, sales booming. He knows the store layout perfectly, lived there for months, knows every camera, every blind spot, every routine. He plans one big robbery, the store he's been living in, the place that sheltered him. Jeffrey builds a surveillance system, using baby monitors from the store, places them around the building, creates his own security network. He studies employee schedules, patterns, weaknesses. December 26, 2004, Boxing Day, day after Christmas. Jeffrey enters the store with his rifle, same method he used 58 times before. Employees directed to the back room. Stay calm, nobody gets hurt, just money. but 2 employees manage to escape,
Yeah,
run outside,
idiot.
call 911. Police response, immediate, multiple units. This is Christmas weekend. They're ready for robbery calls. Jeffrey grabs what cash he can, runs, but he doesn't leave the building complex. Runs to Circuit City, his hidden room. Police search Toys R Us, search the parking lot, search nearby stores. Then they find the passage, the connection between buildings, the secret entrance to Circuit City. They follow it, and they find Jeffrey's room.
TV with the year. Check the rack.
Police enter the abandoned Circuit City, weapons drawn, searching. They find the staircase, the hidden space underneath. Open it. Inside, a full apartment. Mattress, TV, DVD player, posters on walls, food storage, clothes, personal items. Someone has been living here for months. Jeffrey isn't there. He fled, but he left everything behind. Police process the scene. Photographs, evidence collection, fingerprint analysis. They dust the DVD player, find prints, run them through the system. Match. Jeffrey Manchester, escaped prisoner, wanted since June 2004. But there's one detail that makes investigators smile. The DVD in the player, Catch Me If You Can. The Steven Spielberg film about Frank Abagnale Jr., the con artist who evaded FBI capture, the man who lived multiple identities. The irony is so perfect that newspapers will lead with it. The fugitive caught by the movie about a fugitive. Police issue a manhunt. Jeffrey Manchester's photo everywhere. America's Most Wanted. Local news.
That's
FBI.
The FBI's America's Most Wanted was gonna get him. All them people, and then that lady with the 2 kids, she definitely gonna be watching that. Either that, somebody in that church is definitely watching that show. He hit. His buddy gonna try to go back to that church. Oh, wait. That's what I said, bro. What are you doing, bro? And then you got caught the same way twice. You're not paying attention. How you got a carefully executed plan, but you're not paying attention to all the employees? The first time you let one get away, you slipped out and hit the panic button. The second time you let 2. Especially the one where you only let 1, you should have kept count. You should have knew. Hey, man, there's only 3 people in this freezer. It should be 5. There's only 4 people in here. It should be, you know what I'm feeling? Like, come on, bro. Hey, man.
Bulletins. But Jeffrey has already changed appearance. Shaved, different clothes, blends into Charlotte's population. For 3 weeks, he evades capture again, until January 21st, 2005.
Let me try something else again.
Whoa, man, amazing car. When did you become a millionaire?
What is this for?
We're trying to get advice for the younger generation.
I made my first million last year.
January 21st, 2005.
We walked over and said, how much you worth, man? How much this cost? He said, what is this for? You go back to my financial state. It's crazy, buddy.
Tip comes in. Anonymous caller. Saw someone matching Jeffrey's description. Police investigate. Find Jeffrey in a residential area, walking down the street, carrying groceries. They approach. Weapons drawn. Jeffrey runs. Again. Same as before. But he's tired. 6 months of hiding, living in stores, constant fear, relationship under a false name, church community he's betrayed. He doesn't run far. Police tackle him. Handcuffs. Arrest. Jeffrey Manchester, Roofman, finally caught for good. The trial is swift. The evidence overwhelming. New charges added to his original sentence. Robbery, escape from prison, multiple counts of breaking and entering, identity fraud. The judge adds 35 more years to his sentence. Total, 80 years in prison. Earliest release date, December 2036. Jeffrey will be 65 years old. He's transferred to a maximum security facility. No metal shop job this time. No trust. No trucks to hide under. But even in maximum security, Jeffrey tries. 2009. He's been studying the meal delivery system. Guards bring food carts through corridors. There's a pattern, a gap, a weakness. Jeffrey creates a diversion. Small fire in his cell. Alarm triggered. Guards responding. During the chaos, Jeffrey attempts to slip through an unsecured door. He's caught immediately, wasn't even close to success. Punishment, another 10 years added to his sentence. Now 90 years total. More importantly, transferred to an even more restrictive unit. Super maximum security, isolation, almost no human contact. 2017. Jeffrey tries again. This time, his plan involves a maintenance access tunnel. Again, caught during planning stages. Guards find diagrams in his cell. Notes about guard rotations. Another 15 years added. Total sentence, 105 years. The pattern is clear. Jeffrey Manchester will never stop trying to escape. It's who he is, fundamentally. Core personality. Psychologists evaluate him. Subject shows obsessive patterns. Cannot accept confinement. Will continue escape attempts regardless of consequences.
Man, found a loophole to print $3 million in real money.
September 30th, 2008. Monroe, Washington. A quiet town where nothing extraordinary ever happens. Until it does. At precisely 11:06 in the morning, a Brinks armored truck pulls up to its scheduled stop at a Bank of America. Routine. Predictable. Safe. Then the pepper spray hits. The guard goes down. A figure in a yellow vest, respirator mask, and safety goggles snatches a bag of cash and vanishes. Not into a getaway car, not into a crowd of panicked bystanders, but into a sea of identical men. Dozens of them, all wearing the exact same outfit, all standing exactly where they were told to be. The police arrive within minutes, and they have absolutely no idea who to chase. Someone had planned this, not with weapons, not with violence, with a job listing. To understand how a man ends up orchestrating one of the most audacious bank robberies in modern American history, you have to go back to the beginning, not to the crime, to the person. Anthony Curcio was not, by any conventional measure, a man headed toward a life of crime. Quite the opposite. Growing up in the Pacific Northwest, Curcio was the kind of young man that small towns produce legends about. Athletic, charming, driven, the sort of person who made everything look effortless because, for a long time, it genuinely was. At Central Washington University, he played football at a competitive level. He was fast, disciplined, and focused. Sports gave him structure, identity, and a community that believed in him. Coaches noticed him. Teammates respected him. And the town of Monroe, the place he would one day make infamous, knew his name for all the right reasons. After university, he didn't fade into obscurity like so many former athletes. He built something, a landscaping business, then a real estate portfolio. This was the mid-2000s, and in the Pacific Northwest, real estate wasn't just an investment. It was a gold rush. Property values were climbing. Money was moving, and Anthony Curcio was moving with it. By his late 20s, he had constructed the kind of life that looks immaculate from the outside. A successful entrepreneur, a respected member of his community, a former athlete turned self-made businessman. The American blueprint, executed to perfection. But blueprints, no matter how carefully drawn, depend entirely on the ground beneath them. And in 2007, the ground gave way. The American housing market didn't just slow down, it collapsed. And it took thousands of small investors, over-leveraged developers, and optimistic entrepreneurs down with it. Anthony Curcio was one of them. His real estate holdings, once the foundation of his financial identity, became liabilities overnight. The income dried up, the debts did not. What followed was the kind of financial unraveling that rarely makes headlines quiet, grinding, deeply personal. The kind that keeps a man awake at 3 a.m, staring at numbers that no longer add up, in a life that no longer resembles the one he had planned. The golden boy was tarnishing, and he knew it. There is a particular kind of desperation that belongs exclusively to people who were once comfortable. It is not the desperation of someone who has never had anything. It is sharper than that. More disorienting, because the pain is not just financial, it is existential. The life you built, the identity you constructed, the version of yourself that others recognized and admired, all of it begins to feel like a costume you can no longer afford to wear. This was Anthony Curcio's reality in the months following the housing collapse. The business losses were significant, but they were only part of the story. Alongside the failing real estate investments, Curcio had developed a prescription drug addiction, one that had quietly escalated well beyond medical necessity. His dependency on painkillers, in particular, had become a financial sinkhole. What may have started as a way to manage the physical toll, a way to stay connected to the competitive world he had left behind on the football field, had mutated into something far more destructive. The debts accumulated, not in one dramatic moment, but in the slow, suffocating way that financial ruin actually works. A missed payment here, a deferred obligation there, interest compounding on interest. The architecture of a carefully built life, developing fractures too numerous to repair through conventional means. He was not a man who had stumbled into poverty through laziness or lack of ambition. He was a man who had worked, planned, and built, and watched it dissolve anyway. That distinction mattered enormously to how he saw himself, and perhaps to what he believed he was capable of justifying. Because at some point, and we cannot know exactly when, Anthony Curcio stopped asking how he could fix his situation through legitimate means, and started asking a different question entirely. What if he could simply take what he needed, not recklessly, not violently? He was not by temperament or history a violent man, but he was intelligent, methodical, a problem solver by nature. And the problem in front of him was, at its core, a logistical one. He needed money, a significant amount of it, and he needed to acquire it in a way that gave him a reasonable chance of walking away clean. Most people who arrive at this crossroads turn back. The consequences are too...
See, and this would, even whatever plan he's making, ain't gonna fall through. Because at the end of it all, he got desperation attached to it. And that attached with a plan, whether it's sloppy or methodical, is not going to end well. Because once again, variable C is attached to A and B when it don't need to be. You feel me? The outcome don't even look good in my eyes, and I don't even know what he's planning yet.
Too severe, the risks too obvious, the moral weight too heavy. Anthony Curcio did not turn back. He opened his laptop, and he started to think. Every crime at its core is a plan, and every plan has a fatal weakness. The history of failed heists is not a history of bad ideas. It is a history of good ideas, with one detail left unconsidered, one variable unaccounted for, one exit route that didn't exist when it needed to. Anthony Curcio knew this, and specifically as a student of criminal history, having spent months researching FBI files and famous robberies, he understood how systems failed. Building a landscaping business requires logistics. Managing a real estate portfolio requires risk assessment. And planning a robbery a clean one that actually works, requires the same fundamental skill set. You identify the objective. You map the obstacles. You engineer around them. So he studied the problem. The target was straightforward. Armored trucks made scheduled stops. Those stops were predictable, observable, and crucially, they happened outdoors, in open spaces, which meant the constraints of a traditional bank interior didn't apply. Even with security cameras overhead, there was no vault, and no silent alarm triggered the moment a teller pressed a hidden button. Just a guard, a truck, a transfer of cash, and a window of seconds in which everything could change. The violence question was one he had apparently already answered for himself. Bear spray. Non-lethal. Incapacitating without being catastrophic. It would buy him the seconds he needed without crossing a line he wasn't willing to cross. This was not a man planning a massacre. It was a man planning a transaction, an illegal, unilateral transaction, but a transaction nonetheless. The escape route was next. And this is where Curcio's thinking diverged sharply from the conventional criminal playbook. Most robbery suspects are caught not during the crime, but immediately after it. The getaway, that frantic, conspicuous sprint from the scene to safety. A running man draws attention. A speeding car gets a license plate. A helicopter overhead turns escape routes into dead ends. Law enforcement had spent decades optimizing for exactly this moment, the post-crime window, when a suspect is visible, panicked, and moving. Curcio wanted to eliminate that window entirely. His solution was not faster, it was invisible. If the police couldn't identify which person at the scene was the suspect, they couldn't chase anyone with certainty. And if the suspect was indistinguishable from a crowd of innocent bystanders who were, through no fault of their own, dressed exactly like him, then the entire post-crime apparatus of law enforcement would grind to a halt before it even began. The question was no longer whether he could escape. The question was how to build the crowd. He needed bodies. Cooperative, unwitting, plausibly deniable bodies. People who would show up at a specific location, at a specific time, wearing specific clothing without knowing what they were actually participating in. People who could be summoned quickly, anonymously, and in sufficient numbers to create genuine chaos for anyone trying to identify a single individual among many. In 2008, there was exactly one platform capable of delivering that: Craigslist. In 2008, Craigslist was not the relic it would later become. It was infrastructure, the connective tissue of the American informal economy. People used it to find apartments, sell furniture, hire contractors, and pick up odd jobs. It was anonymous by design, transactional by nature, and trusted enough that millions of ordinary people checked it daily without a second thought. It was, in other words, the perfect recruitment tool for a man who needed a crowd and couldn't afford to be remembered. The listing Curcio posted was, on its surface, entirely unremarkable. It described a job: outdoor work in the Monroe area. The pay was reported to be $28.50 per hour, substantial enough to ensure a quick response. Reasonable for a casual day's labor. To ensure a quick response. $28.50 per hour, substantial enough to ensure a quick response. Reasonable for a casual day's labor. Substantial enough. The pay was reported to be $28.50 per hour, substantial enough to ensure a quick response. Reasonable for a casual day's labor. The kind of wage that attracts exactly the kind of person he needed. Someone between jobs, someone looking for quick cash, someone who wouldn't ask too many questions about why a construction gig required a specific uniform. And there was a uniform. This was the detail that made the plan genuinely extraordinary. The listing instructed applicants to arrive wearing a yellow safety vest, protective goggles, a respirator mask, and a blue shirt. The justification embedded in the ad was mundane, some variation of safety requirements for a work site. Plausible enough, common enough. The kind of instruction that, on any ordinary job listing, would register as nothing more than a minor inconvenience. But the effect of that instruction, when multiplied across roughly a dozen respondents, was something else entirely. It created a uniform, a disguise that wasn't a disguise, because every person wearing it had chosen to wear it voluntarily, innocently, and for entirely legitimate reasons as far as they were concerned. Each respondent was, in their own mind, simply showing up for a job interview. None of them knew they were props in a heist. None of them knew that the man who posted the listing would be committing a federal crime within feet of where they were standing. This is what separated Curcio's plan from ordinary criminal improvisation. He wasn't just hiding himself. He was engineering ambiguity at scale, creating a situation in which law enforcement would be confronted, not with one suspect, but with a crowd of identically dressed individuals, none of whom had done anything wrong, and no immediate way to determine which one had. The respondents gathered on the morning of September 30th. Estimates of the exact number vary, but accounts place it at approximately 10 to 15 people, a significant cluster of identically dressed workers assembled near the Brinks armored truck stop at a Bank of America on a quiet Monroe Street. Some waited for instructions. Some looked around, mildly confused about why the job site seemed somewhat unorganized. A few may have grown impatient. None of them knew what was about to happen, but one of them did. Somewhere in that crowd, dressed in the same yellow vest, the same respirator, the same goggles as every other person present, stood Anthony Curcio. Invisible not because he was hiding, but because he was, in every observable way, exactly the same as everyone around him. He had posted a job listing, and 30 people had helped him commit a robbery without ever knowing it. There are moments in which a plan transitions from theory to reality, from the controlled environment of a mind-running simulations to the irreversible, unforgiving world of actual consequences. That transition is always a threshold, and once crossed, there is no returning to the side where a decision hasn't yet been made. For Anthony Curcio, that threshold was September 30th, 2008. A Tuesday morning, overcast, as Western Washington mornings tend to be. The kind of day that doesn't announce itself. The kind of day that doesn't feel historic until it already is. The Brinks armored truck arrived at its scheduled stop near the Bank of America branch on Lewis Street at approximately 11:06 in the morning. This was not unusual. This was the routine. The same route, the same timing, the same transfer of cash that happened with the kind of institutional regularity that Curcio had spent weeks observing and mapping. Predictability in the world of security logistics is both a feature and a vulnerability, and he had identified exactly where that vulnerability lived. The guard stepped out to conduct the cash transfer. Standard procedure, no reason for alarm. The street was populated a construction crew nearby, workers in safety vests milling around. The ordinary visual noise of a working morning in a small American town. Nothing to elevate the pulse. Nothing to suggest that the day was anything other than what it appeared to be. Then Curcio moved. The bear spray deployment was fast and deliberate. The guard was struck directly, the chemical agent doing precisely what it was designed to do, temporarily incapacitating without causing lasting physical harm. The guard went down, the transfer window opened, and Curcio reached for the cash. The entire active phase of the robbery lasted seconds. Not minutes, seconds. The kind of interval that exists between a blink and a breath. He had the bag. He was already moving. And the escape route he had engineered so carefully was already functioning exactly as designed. He ran, but not far, and not conspicuously, because running toward a crowd of identically dressed people is not running away. It is disappearing. He merged back into the cluster of yellow-vested workers who were standing exactly where they had been told to stand, for reasons they still didn't fully understand. From the outside, from any angle that a responding officer might have, of them. And then, in the creek behind the scene, a detail that speaks to the granular, almost obsessive level of preparation Curcio had invested in this plan. A yellow inner tube had been pre-positioned in Woods Creek, waiting. A getaway vehicle that produced no exhaust, no license plate, no engine noise. Something that could move through the water without drawing a second glance. He was gone before the sirens arrived. The responding officers reached the scene within minutes. They found a bear-sprayed guard, a missing bag of cash, and a street full of bewildered workers in matching outfits who had absolutely no idea what had just happened. Officers began the process of attempting to identify the suspect. They asked questions. They collected names. They looked for someone who didn't belong, but everyone belonged. That was the point. The interviews were, by all accounts, deeply frustrating. Respondent after respondent offered the same essential story they had seen a Craigslist ad. They had followed the instructions. They had shown up expecting a job, and they had witnessed something they didn't understand until the police arrived to explain it. Their confusion was genuine. Their innocence was genuine. And their inability to provide a useful description of the perpetrator was, from an investigative standpoint, a near total dead end. The suspect was described as a male in a yellow vest, respirator mask, and protective goggles, which describes, almost perfectly, every single person at the scene. The money was gone, the suspect was gone, and the Monroe Police Department, along with the FBI agents who would shortly join the investigation, were left staring at a crime scene that had been, with remarkable precision, engineered to yield nothing. Anthony Curcio had walked into a crowd, and walked out of it with someone else's money. For 7 months after the robbery, Anthony Curcio was, by every practical measure, free. The FBI field office in Seattle was notified almost immediately. Bank robberies are federal crimes, and this one carried an additional layer of urgency, not just because of the stolen cash, but because of the method. The Craigslist angle was unprecedented. Agents who had spent careers cataloging robbery patterns had not seen this before, and that novelty, while professionally fascinating, made the initial investigative footing genuinely unstable. The standard playbook assumed a suspect who ran, a vehicle that could be tracked, a face caught on camera. Here, there was none of that. What there was, however, was a physical trail. The plan had to be rehearsed, a rehearsal that left a mark. In the weeks leading up to the heist, Curcio had been spotted scouting the location and practicing his inner tube escape by a local witness, a homeless man named Oscar. Curcio, for all his meticulous planning, had been observed wearing a wig and a mask long before the crime took place. The witness had done what any observant bystander might. He had noted a license plate number, a thread to pull. Simultaneously, the physical evidence left behind a discarded respirator mask found near the creek was being processed. It contained a DNA sample, a biological footprint that, when cross-referenced, would point directly toward the man who had thought he had engineered perfect anonymity. The digital trail of the Craigslist ad was secondary to the physical mistakes made during the preparation phase. The physical escape had been flawless. The long-term evasion had not. And somewhere upstream along the Woods Creek, a man with a bag of cash was about to discover that disappearing from a crime scene and disappearing from an investigation are two entirely different problems. The FBI did not find Anthony Curcio. The internet led them to him. The investigation turned not on a digital trace, but on a witness who had noticed something out of place weeks before. A homeless man named Oscar had seen a man scouting the location, practicing an escape in the creek, and wearing a wig, and that man's license plate had been recorded. The anonymity Curcio had assumed he had maintained during his rehearsals was not, in any practical sense, real. It never had been. Every rehearsal, every scouting trip, every interaction with the environment had been observed quietly by someone he had overlooked, without any awareness on his part that he was being recorded in a stranger's memory. But the witness was only part of it. Curcio had also left something behind. A respirator mask discarded near Woods Creek during his escape contained a DNA sample, and DNA leaves a record, a biological transaction, the kind of undeniable signature that investigators can follow with scientific certainty and a lab report. There was also the matter of the surveillance. The FBI placed him under secret observation for months after the license plate lead, and a man whose DNA matched the evidence at the scene, who was already being watched by federal agents, and who was connected by geography and history to the exact location of the crime that man attracts attention. Quietly, incrementally, the circle around Anthony Curcio began to tighten. The brilliant physical escape had bought him 7 months, not freedom. Anthony Curcio was arrested without incident. There was no dramatic confrontation, no chase, no final act of defiance from a man who had, 7 months earlier, engineered one of the most creative escape plans in the recent history of American bank robbery. When the FBI came for him in June 2009, he did not run. Perhaps because he understood by then that the running had already been done and that it hadn't been enough. He was charged with bank robbery. The evidence against him was, by the time of his arrest, substantial. Not a digital trail, but a biological one. A DNA match from the respirator mask found near the scene. The observations of a local witness, a homeless man named Oscar, who had recorded Curcio's license plate during a rehearsal. The geographic and personal connections to the crime scene. The inner tube, recovered from Woods Creek. Piece by piece, the architecture of his plan had been reconstructed by investigators. And in that reconstruction, his identity had become unmistakable. Faced with the weight of that evidence, Curcio did something that, in its own way, was as rational as the robbery itself. He cooperated. He pleaded guilty. He did not attempt to construct an implausible defense around a plan whose details were now fully documented and understood. In 2009, Anthony Curcio was sentenced to 72 months in federal prison. The amount stolen in the robbery was reported at approximately $400,000, though accounts vary slightly on the precise figure. The sentence reflected both the severity of the crime and the credit granted for his cooperation. The golden boy from Monroe, the athlete, the entrepreneur, the self-made man. He had applied every skill he possessed: discipline, logistics, creative thinking, risk assessment to a single criminal act. and he had executed it in purely operational terms, with a level of sophistication that investigators openly acknowledged was unlike anything they had encountered in comparable cases. It simply wasn't enough, because the same intelligence that built the plan had failed to account for one fundamental truth. In the age of forensic science, there is no such thing as a clean disappearance. You can vanish from a street corner. You cannot vanish from your own biology.
Should have played this second. We're going to sleep. Hurt.
Hi, can you hear me?
If it is invalid, we promise a tenfold refund. This denture can be successfully worn in just 1 second and is suitable for everyone. Whether you have complete teeth, partial missing teeth.
My mother.
Listen to me. I saw it. Listen to me. We think it's here. I saw it. You two, you were going to say that supposedly for... Yes, I saw it. Where is it?
You're talking to me, Daddy.
Woman, listen to me. I've been telling you for a long time that you're going to make a mistake. I'm paying you. Listen to me.
This speaking another language, and I think I reacted. Put the English language so we can understand. Not just we can guess me what they're saying. Yeah, my bad. So she snuck somebody in the house, and I think it's her father. He speaks some type of other language, but whoever reacted to it they did a good job at somewhat so we can understand what they're saying. And this is crazy part. I think whoever hiding feet or hand is right here, something like that. Let's get into it though.
That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm paying for your college. I'm giving you money and everything, and you're doing things wrong. Whose engine is that out there?
No, I don't know what engine you're talking about.
Listen, the time is in here. No, because I'm going to send your mom because your mom thinks you're safe because she sent you for me for a reason.
Easy. Easy. You have someone here, right or not?
I don't have anyone.
Are you sure?
Elizabeth, tell me the truth. I'm your dad. If I find someone in here today, I swear, look at me. For my dad who's dead.
Have anyone here?
If I find someone in here today, I'm going to get 30 years. And
he told me if I find someone here today, I'm gonna get 30 years. And shit, look like she grown, but I guess she's still parents or father. Then that must say she grown. She's definitely grown. I think. Indeed, she gotta be. He talking getting 30 years. Baby better come up out that hot spot.
So that's gonna weigh on your conscience.
I'm like, you know what, baby, it's okay, man. You ain't gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm right here popping up here, man.
I don't have anyone here.
Way on your conscience, because you know how hard I work to give you things, right? And you want to keep doing things.
What I care about, Ma, what I care about is that you catch him red-handed and you don't want to admit it because he talks. Talks. You know, there's an engine out there.
I'm gonna look for him around here and all this stuff.
Dad, come on, let's go.
If I find him, sit down there. Sit down there. If I find him here, the devil's gonna go in here. Even you're gonna take my daughter. Either way, we'll see.
I'm gonna leave. My daughter, tell the truth. That's why they don't believe anything you say. That's why they don't believe anything you say.
This is gonna be a good thing.
You understand me?
I'm very sorry for that girl. I've talked about a lot of things because of you. I don't know, like I avoid dating because of you. Okay? So look what you're gonna do. Come on, bro. Come on, I'll keep you company.
Let's go, Daddy.
Come on. Come on. Come here. Dad.
Look. And what's that going on? What's that? Look how you made me lose my trust.
They're still telling you to tell the truth and you say nothing that you don't have anyone. What's that?
Look. But look who it is.
But I've been telling you for a long time, and you didn't want to believe me. I've been telling you for a long time that they were seeing each other and that he was leaving college. He was riding the motorcycle.
Stand up, come here.
I know that engine from afar.
Damn criminal little brother. My daughter's damn future.
But no, Daddy. My mother.
That's a kid.
Stand up. But wait, bro. Don't put it like that. Damn, that's why you guys are chewing gum. Stand up from there. Bro, look, listen, please. Look, we don't have to come now.
Why didn't you talk once? Well, you didn't talk either. But show him too.
You confessed to me. You know why I didn't confess to you?
Because you didn't want to see me with him, and he's the man I like and the man I'm going to marry.
Hey, that thing is a thing.
That guy is so bad that they give him a job because of who he is, huh?
Hey, that guy didn't say he's gonna change for me. The word of all criminals.
That guy
is
his own Rome. Excuse me now.
Take it out.
I don't get it though. Why you got a damn a machete blade with you? Like, if you're gonna be all brolic with old boy, put the knife down. I'm pretty much sure he's scared of that. No, I'm scared of that knife than he is to him. Like, you slapping him. You already like 4 times his size. But he looked like he a kid too. Like not a kid, but he definitely like a kid. Like, they just graduated high school. They probably in their first year of college. Like, I understand you and your daughter because she's still in your house, but you said it's like they in their first year of college. He'll feel like he in his prime, you know? And he way bigger than little bro. You can tell little bro 17, he's turned 18, something like that. Your daughter probably the exact same thing, 18, just turned 18, so in the first year of college. And he
Walk. Listen, shut up the camera. Listen, if I see you move my daughter again, it won't be 2 damn days that I'm going to rip your ass off with everything. I'm not going to come in here anymore. Tell him not to look for you, not to call you, and then I'll block you. Move. Please don't look for me anymore. Block me already. Get out. Move. And I'll give you one last chance. If you're going to make the same mistake again, it doesn't matter what I mean for college, money, class, or anything. She has a damn boyfriend.
Right? Easy or easy. If you want to be with him, take responsibility for all yours.
Go stand there like this. And just so it's clear, listen, and your mom is going to see that video.
Every day, hundreds of thousands of commuters cross the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge, and most are entirely oblivious to the fact that For a moment of their journey, they're passing directly above the abandoned home of one of America's greatest war heroes, Admiral Chester Nimitz. That's right. This disregarded structure was formerly occupied by a man who commanded 2 million people, 5,000 ships, and 20,000 aircraft, in what was a force larger than most empires throughout history. Furthermore, the house also served as a powerful site of reconciliation. It was here that high-ranking Japanese naval officers and dignitaries would travel specifically to pay their respects to the man who defeated them. Even Soviet generals were known to visit the site. So how could such an important, symbolic relic of American heritage be falling apart under a concrete bridge? And what, if anything, can be done to save it? Stay tuned to find out as we explore the story of the Forgotten Mansion under the Bay Bridge. I'm your host, Ryan Sokash, and you're watching It's History. To understand the Nimitz house, you first need to understand the island that it sits upon. Yerba Buena Island, which translates from Spanish as Good Herb Island, was named for the mint-like plant that once grew abundantly on its slopes. And
the jewelry these is paying, they getting overpriced. And
everybody who's watching, if you got anything from Johnny, check that because that boy be putting that CBD in y'all.
Johnny Dang, the king of bling, may be selling rappers fake diamonds. At least that's what they're saying. His own ex-employee told everybody to get their pieces checked. When they did, the results had the culture questioning every chain, every grill, and every dollar spent. Here's the full story. When day one's turn.
Man, when I look at Johnny Dang, he's the biggest culture vulture in hip-hop right
now.
now.
In mid-March 2026, the entire hip-hop internet caught fire. It all started.
And Sauce Walka spends a lot of money with Johnny, man.
With one man, one Instagram live, and one very expensive set of teeth. See, Houston rapper Sauce Walka, a day one ride or die. Been there since the jump customer of legendary jeweler Johnny Dang went absolutely nuclear on camera. And when I say nuclear, I mean this man grabbed a stick of dynamite, lit it, and tossed it straight into the middle of a 20-year relationship for the whole world to watch. Sauce went live, showing off a brand new permanent $1 million plus grill. And this wasn't just any grill. This was made by Plug Geo, Johnny Dang's former employee, his own worker who had walked out the shop years earlier. Let that marinate for a second, because the disrespect is layered. The man didn't just switch jewelers, he switched to Johnny's ex-worker, broadcast the whole swap on camera, and then told his followers to do the same. Sauce dramatically retired his old Johnny Dang pieces right there on the live, pulled them joints out, showed off the new ice from Geo, and told everybody watching to take out the Johnny Dangs and put in the Geos. He claimed he dropped hundreds of thousands to over $500,000 across 2 decades on custom grills, chains, and pieces, including a major $500,000 Cuban chain that was reportedly so expensive the transaction had to go down inside a bank. And the accusation at the heart of it all, Sauce alleged that Johnny had been charging premium natural diamond prices while using cheaper lab-grown CVD diamonds that were passed off as mined natural stones. In other words, he was saying he got played, finessed, bamboozled for years by someone he considered fam. Now, here's where you need to understand.
This is why it's important that a lot of these newer artists, even some of the older ones, listen. First of all, their priorities be totally backwards. Now, you sign to these labels, right? And they hand you an advance, right? Excuse me, it's super important that you know you don't go to Johnny Dang and blow your advance. Because you heard what I said, right? I said when these labels hand you an advance, I didn't say give you. This is when you pay attention to the words, and the words mean everything.